Hi everybody, it's Gypsy. First, I wanted to let you know, I told you guys that due to gas prices, they are now at $4.29 where I am per gallon. I am going up to the tri-state area, and I'm going to be staying on a friend's property, which is totally off-grid, I might add. That's how I live off-grid. Anyways, he and I are talking about doing a garden. He is going to start making some raised beds, and we are possibly starting maybe doing some homesteading. It will be recorded and shared with you all because I think it's important to know how to do these things with the way things are going. People have been saying it for years and nobody believed it. Well, it's happening now, people. I have also heard of people who have said and done the wrong things in the eyes of the powers that be, which actually means they're saying and doing the right things, morally and spiritually, having their bank accounts frozen. So now we need to start considering this because they are trying to back us into a corner where they have the ability to do these things. We have to combat it peacefully. Not by violence, but by doing things like homesteading. So I'm very excited about this, and I will be, again, looking for a way to run my business and sell my wares, while doing this, okay? Anyways, today I wanted to talk about homelessness. Now, I have done a video on homelessness, and I've spoken about my feelings on this in the past. I don't know if it's still on the channel, if I took it down for some reason. I'm going to have to find it and try to get back on my YouTube channel if it's not in there. This I did, I think, when I was living up in Denver. I was camping in that area. Denver is it's one of the most expensive places you can live in this country. And they have a huge homeless problem. So I did a video calling places like Denver out and saying, well, you created that homeless problem. By making it so expensive to live there, you end up with more and more homeless people. And at that time, I had stayed overnight at a Cracker Barrel, which you can do, like if you're an RVer, you can, well, some Cracker Barrels, not all of them. You always have to check, okay, people? Always check. But at this one, you could stay overnight. And I did. And the next morning, a woman says to me, well, are you homeless? Because I heard the police are coming to clear us all out and all that. I'm like, well, not technically homeless. I'm just a natural nomad, not that I needed to be. It's just the way I chose to live. I said, no, I was leaving today anyways. Oops, spirit got too close to the camera again. But anyways, I was talking to this other gentleman. He could not afford registration for his rig. I think he had a Class C, if I remember correctly, in Denver, in Colorado. And most places out west, to get a vehicle registration costs hundreds of dollars. And this guy was staying at the Cracker Barrel, and I said, well, what if you do what I do? I said, most of the time I camp up in the mountains, and it's very quiet there, and nobody bothers you. And he says, I would love to do that, and I've thought about that, but I can't get up there without a license plate. And this is how society has created homelessness. And that's what I want to talk about today. Because I was thinking, man, with the price of gas, well, we're going to have even more homeless problems. Now, I am a nomad by choice. Before I became a nomad, I had a very nice apartment in a century home that was divided into apartments, and it was very reasonable price. But I wanted to be a nomad, so I'm doing it by choice. But I have met so many nomads who are doing it out of necessity because they cannot afford a sticks and bricks home. Now, those of us who dry camp, which we call boondocking, we typically stay on like BLM land or National Forest land, which in most cases is free camping for up to 14 days, and then you have to move on. Oops, Spirit got too close to the camera again. Now, when people who don't have the money for gasoline, and believe you me, now I don't, because of the price of gas, where it is now. 2 years ago, I had no problem. I was a nomad. I would travel. I would move on. No problem. But now, last year, it started to be a problem for me. I couldn't afford the gas anymore. And this year's even worse. So what we're doing is creating a situation for those who were forced into being a nomad, not being able to move on. And they're going to sit there. And then people who live in that area start complaining. No, I'm not going to say rightfully so, Dad. You have to consider these people's circumstances. Now, what I said in my previous video about homelessness is any of us at any time, and I don't care how much money you have right now, any of us at any time in a split second could be homeless. Just like that. And now think about it. They're freezing bank accounts. It could be you. It could have been you a couple years ago when I made that video. Now, the chances are even higher of that happening. Don't blame it on the homeless. Stop treating them like they are criminals and pieces of trash. They are not. You get in a bad situation like, oh, and look at this. So many of them are veterans. Why should a veteran be on the streets? They were lied to into serving, not this country, not us, but the powers that be in this country, serving them. They were lied to. We were all lied to. When it comes to war, we are always being lied to. We're lied to just about everything. But when it comes to war, we are. Now, these veterans, and man, you young woke people, one time I heard this poor veteran on Twitter was talking about how a young woke person told him he's an idiot for falling for the lies of war. And this was a Vietnam vet. Things were different when I was a kid. Things were different. Told this guy he was stupid and hated him for being a vet, for serving this country, because he fell for the lies. How asleep is that woke person? They're lying to the woked too. They're using the woked. The woked need to wake up and see how they're being used. Damn, are they being used? I never ever again want to hear a veteran being spoken to like that again, even if they're homeless. They were lied to. They did what they thought was right, and the majority of society thought was right. It's not, don't ever blame the victim. We should have respect and honor for those who chose, despite what the truth is, what we believed at the time, and what many of us still believe now, serving and protecting our country. Always treat them with respect. I don't care what you know now. And many of them are on the streets, homeless. It's ridiculous. Okay? So it could be you at any moment. I don't care what you do, how much money you have, how woke you are, how awake you are, anything. It could happen. Now, I am angry because they complain and treat the homeless like they're criminals. I get to see it all the time being a nomad. It's ridiculous. I have a nice rig, okay? I'll admit that. I have a nice rig. It is small. And it's not an expensive one. But I have, if I should get into financial problems, I have people in my life who would help me. Namely my son. But I have others too. I have it better than most. When I see these people trying to get gas money just to move on, so the neighborhood and the police don't, the locals and the police don't come after them, I feel sorry for those people. Yet I hear people talking about, well, what about those people who, like, they stay in their RV or their van? Oh. You know what? Get over your fucking selves. Hi everybody, it's Gypsy, and I just wanted to show you the two newest additions to my beaded bandana collection. They are both 100% 22 and 22-inch square. The first is white with black print, and it has vintage beads, faceted clear glass, and round iridescent glass. And the second has both blue and clear glass, faceted beads, and the round iridescent um, glass beads. And yes, all of these are vintage. Come check me out at gypsywitchcreations.com. Look under accessories and press in the tab for beaded hair bandanas. Selves. That's a problem with this planet. It just is refusing to ascend and evolve and mature. You need to think, why? Why are those people in that circumstance? Why? And you better find out, because it can happen to you too. It could happen to anybody. I've heard of rich people ending up on the streets. I remember watching a movie about it with my mom. In fact, I remember when I was very young, I was a young adult. Oops, again. My mom and I were talking about homelessness. And she says, do you know that I heard some people choose to be homeless? I was like, really? I was shocked to hear that. But the older I got, the more I understood. This society is so sick that people are opting out. Now, you can opt out through suicide, or you can opt out by living on the streets and not participating in society. And never, ever blame or shame anyone for opting for that, because we truly do have a very, very sick society all across this globe. And like Krishnamurti said, it is no measure of good health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. We need to stop judging others. First of all, if you have never walked in that person's shoes, you have no business judging them. You don't know what their life is about, what it was and what it is now. You don't know what the circumstances are that caused whatever situation they are in, especially homelessness. It could be you at any moment. You need to, and even if you have walked in their shoes, you're not them, so you still can't judge them. They're going to view it and handle it differently than you do. We need to stop the judgment crap, okay? Now, as long as we continue on this trajectory of believing the powers that be, falling for their bullshit, and thinking this is the way it's supposed to be, or this is just the way it is, it's going to keep happening, and it's going to get worse. And we have no one but to blame but ourselves as a mass consensus. Because we are buying into it. Okay? The entire planet is, and this shit's got to stop. People are waking up more and more because of the shit that's been going on. I believe the powers that be have accelerated their tactics to the point they're not being subtle, and people are waking up more. Okay, we talked about this yesterday. But to just wake up and not do anything about it is not good enough, people. It's not good enough. We need to unite, and that doesn't mean we all have to have the same opinions and be in agreement. We don't. We are individuals. Yes, I believe spiritually in unity, and we all are from the same source. No matter what species you have chosen to incarnate on, even no matter what planet you chose to incarnate on, we are still from the same exact source. So we are spiritually united, but that does not mean we have to have the same opinions and do the same things and act the same way. Okay? We don't. What we do need is to unite and make this planet a better place to incarnate on. I know I'm going to have descendants. One day my son and daughter-in-law are going to have children. Or at least one child. I'll have descendants. I worry about my son and daughter-in-law now. I'm older. I'll be out of here quicker. I worry about my grandchild or grandchildren. I worry about my great-grand, and so on. Now, I don't just worry about my own descendants. I worry about everyone's descendants who are going to be coming into this planet. And we need to be. I can't stand to see what's going on here. We need to change it. Stop judging the homeless. Let's think of a better solution. Okay, I've always said people being forced into jobs that were not meant for them and they hate, well, it's never going to work, and that contributes to homelessness. You get so depressed you can't even function, you're going to lose your job. What's the point of living if you have to get up every day and go to a place and do something you can't stand? What's the point of living? I did do a video on that, suicide and how that can be solved. It's a hard one for me to do. You all know why. My son, John, committed suicide. Maybe I should do another video on that. Right. We need to change things. We do. We don't all have to be in agreement. We do need to treat each other respectfully and respect each other's opinions and difference of opinions. But if everybody could use the talents they came in with and the abilities to contribute to society so that we can all survive peacefully, this other shit would stop. The rules and regulations about what your home should be like, how you should live, what you should do on your own property, and should we really have property lines? Oops, Spirit got too close to the camera again. We really need to think about that. So many things. And what we need to do is get rid of big government. I would get rid of all government except within your own small community, having it self-governed by all who live and contribute to that community. Those are the governances. And no more. Because when it gets bigger than that, people, we end up where we are today. We are capable and we are creative beings. How can we not be creative beings when we have come directly from the Creator's source? And we all have. We're all pieces, part and parcel of Source, who is the Creator. So yes, we are all creators, and we can recreate this mess we got into. We can figure out how to use natural resources the way Source intended, without, charging each other and making some of us go without because we can't afford it. Especially food. We are so creative that we can create a new way to live, a better way to live, a happier way to live. And if Source God is love, then so are we. We need to stop buying into the lies that we are inherently sinful and we're too stupid to know how to live on our own without Big Brother taking care of us. You get rid of all this shit, the crime rate would plummet, mental illness would plummet. If you guys, you gotta listen to Penny Kelly. She knows how it is on other planets and how the new Earth will be as long as we focus and as a mass consensus want it. Nothing like it is now. It's amazing. It's beautiful, and we can have it. We can have it. So we cannot blame the homeless for being homeless. It can happen to you. And the way this sick society is causing homelessness, causing crime, causing mental illness, causing suicide, causing murder, etc. Let's cure this sick society and make it healthy. We have to take it back into our own hands in order to do that. Always remember, the way things are right now, you could be homeless and out in the street in a split second. Anybody can. Anybody. Always remember that. We need to change it and take the power out of a small few hands. Okay? Because that small few is not buying up all the property, too. And you know where that's going to lead. We'll be renting from them, and still, it'll be even easier to make you homeless if you don't comply. Why should we comply? We're not the evil ones. I want to leave you guys with that. Please think about that. Blessed be, and make it a joyful one.